Check 1, 2. Check, check. We are live. Wait for the signal.
Hello,
Okay.
everybody.
We are live. Yep.
Hello, everybody.
You can hear that tweety sound. Yep.
Hello, everybody.
I can hear that, not in my headphones, but in the sound check. I can hear that.
Wow, that is going all over the place.
I was sound checking it, but through the phone in the sound check, I can hear a tweety sound.
That was like an audio disaster.
Well, yeah, I had the volume up on my phone, and I hold it up here, and then it catches here,
God.
and it loops and loops and loops like swirling vortex of audio chaos.
And now
Woo!
you have a mad echo going on.
You can hear me echo?
Yeah.
I don't have an echo in my ear.
Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind.
Me, you, me, you.
We're good. Oh, jeez. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. It's a good way to start.
Welcome to volume number 2 Research Old World Newspapers. The first one was 1, but I didn't officially say it was 1 until after I said it. And it seemed to go pretty well. Let's maybe try to make it a regular thing, a series, or something. Something? Make it something. Let's see what we can do with it. Because there's lots of vintage newspaper articles. And hello and welcome, everybody.
Hello, welcome,
Hey.
good day,
Hello.
salutations, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whatever time frame you're in. We are here
Welcome
for
to
you.
your time zone. Not the Twilight Zone, but welcome in your time zone. Uh, we're gonna, I guess, we do what we did the first time because the first time we didn't realize it. We didn't do an actual intro, and
Nah,
it worked out because we have an intro into playing the recorded video reading of the articles. We are not reading these live, so it would be an utter disaster, and I would probably just pull the plug and just cut it.
hello, not really here.
So,
Good to see you and anyone else who's,
joining us eventually
eh,
or
yeah,
later
cause,
on down the line.
yeah, we know there's a couple shows going on right now as well, so that's alright.
Oh, yeah, that's why I delayed it. Going, everybody went live without announcing it, and yeah, we're flexible. We can delay it, and I want to do the one welcome because more so it was for anybody from Australia and around the world,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
it puts a pep in our step of just saying hello. Of just the
Yep.
saying hello. We're working on some additives of saying hello, and yeah, I
Yep.
think, are we just good to go?
Alright,
Just
yeah, let's do
play
it.
the first video. We're gonna do pirates,
We got Pirates,
Buccaneer
which
19.
will turn.
You froze.
I froze. So we're gonna
Hoist the
start off with
colors.
Pirates, and we'll roll from there.
Today, salutations from the Captain Plankwood.
Your pirate coffee
That's right.
should just be Captain Coffee.
Ooh, Captain Coffee. Yes, I'm going to change that right now, actually.
I'm good with jellyfish discoveries. Apparently, I don't want to like just put in wench. I guess.
Captain Coffee and the Marauders.
What should I change mine to? Oh no, I need to be purple pirate. Purple pirate jellyfish. Purple pirate jellyfish. Does that look dangerous? Or I should just be purple pirate. So you're captain and I'm coffee and I'm purple pirate. You're chasing after me, baby. I stole all your coffee. Come
That's
and get
right.
it. Sure did.
Mhm.
Yes, I did. Get it.
I need my Starbucks sirens wailing at me in a musical song.
Oh my gosh, remember what we said. Okay, how about you play the video? We'll jump into the articles and we'll read the location of the article. Everything's Library of Congress. We'll read the name of the newspaper and their paragraphs out of the newspaper.
Yep, and here we go. Alrighty. So we have from the Library of Congress, the Gazette of the United States, and Philadelphia Daily Advertiser, October 27th, 1797. A packet from the Admiralty has been bent over lately.
Sent.
That is sent, but it looks like a bent because the F is an S apparently, the way they wrote back then. So, a packet from the Admiralty has been sent or bent over lately by a flag of truce to the prevent or present administration.
Administration?
Administration. Again, F is S apparently. The administration for the affairs of the United Province of Holland, announcing that if the Dutch privateers, who are indeed little better than piratical marauders, pirates, are not immediately recalled, the Dutch fishing boats and other vessels concerned in the lesser channels of traffic between the two countries will be immediately prohibited in all the ports of the British dominions. These are tongue twisters, folks, because again, their F and S's are just not the same.
Very much so. The S is like stretched out and it looks like an F. But when you put an F and a T next to each other, it gets even better. Next paragraph. Arrivals. Captain Wilson, soon after leaving. Now that's an S when it says St. George's. Those are S's, so those have to be F's. Okay, just notice that. St. George's Channel was fallen in with by a French pirate and plundered all of his cabin stores, floors, or floons. I'm just his goodies. Because it looks like an A, it looks like an H, it looks like an FT, an ST. Just 1797 really messed up some things. If you go to the next line, that's an F of saying Captain Cornelius it's abbreviated French. Looks like French commerce of this place. So they're it looks like they're blending the languages, is changing even through the two paragraphs, even that I just read. Small, but changes of actual F's, S's, and the font styles they're using. That's interesting.
Yeah.
that alone. So that's basic information from the Gazette. On to the next article.
On to the next one.
Department of State. Well, actually, I got to go. Gazette of the United States and Philadelphia Daily, June 19th, 1797. Article states Department of State, June, I'd actually say 10th of June, 1797. I hereby certify. That's not, it's, yeah.
Yes.
So that's the F and S, but that's an actual T. Certify.
Certify.
That the foregoing documents numbered from 1, which looks like an I, to 21, or 2I, I to 2I, to 2I, inclusive, that's an F, that's not an S, inclusive, includify,
Inclusive.
included, it looks like 5, include 5
Yes, include 5.
are true copies of the original communications from Andrew Elcott. Does that sound familiar?
Elcott. Yeah.
What is that an abbreviation of? EFQ or ESQ? What do you think? I don't know what ranking that would be.
That's got to be S.
The commission.
Yeah,
Commission
That's a-
for her.
that's a commissioner. That's what
Commiff. The it's a double fa. Of the United States appointed to run the boundary line between their territory and his, that looks like an A, his Catholic Majesty. A fatigue. I think they would put it almost like an F and a T, but there's an S right there. Majesties.
Yeah.
Majet. That's a jet. I don't. That is so funny. Colonies of East, EAFT,
That says Eeft and Weeft.
East and West,
Eeft and Weeft.
East and West with an F, not an S.
Oh my God.
East and West of Florida. to the Secretary of State. Conclude article.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So if you want to read this in today's standard, it would kind of say something like, I hereby certify that the foregoing documents numbered from 1 to 21, inclusive, are true copies of the original communication from Andrew Elcott, the Commissioner of the United States appointed to run the boundary line between their territory and His Catholic Majesty's colonies of East and West Florida, to the Secretary of State, George Taylor, Chief Clerk.
Conclude article. You still skipped over what his ranking is. You can't figure out what that ranking is.
I'm not even going to try. But again, all this will be below in the description, so you guys can check out this yourself and see how they wrote back in the day.
See how they fuffed it up.
Next,
Next article.
we have the Gazette of the United States and Philadelphia Daily Advertiser from August 13th, 1799. What do we have here? Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Piracy. I am informed by Joseph. Yes.
That was really good. That was really good.
Esquire. Is that Esquire? Maybe
That's what it is.
ESQ. It says EFQ, but
Yeah,
I guess the F is an S.
that
So
makes
it's an
sense.
Esquire.
Esquire. I don't know.
Oh my
Acting?
goodness.
I think that's
Acting
acting.
as American console. See? Console at Cadiz. Or Cadiz. I'm not sure if that's a C or a G.
It's like a C.
Okay. I am informed by Joseph Yasnardi, Esquire, consul at Cadiz, that the mate and 4 of the seamen of the American, I want to say Brigantine.
I know. Yep. Good enough.
Brigantine, something. Nancy, where?
Sorry.
Nancy! Where? Nancy! Okay, I'm gonna. We all get the back joke.
It was ringing
Okay.
in my head too as soon as you said it.
If he sees this, he's gonna die laughing now. Okay,
I know.
so whereof Stephen Muniz was master. Sorry, at F and S. He just was master. Piratically. There we go. Piratically.
It does look
But-
particularly.
It is, but it's piratically cut her cables in the Bay of Cadiz in the night of the 7th of June. Okay.
Yeah,
The 7th of June last, and carried her out to sea without her papers. The said Brigantine
that's the word.
is a square sterned vessel, 86 feet
F.
in length, 26 in
Breathed.
breadth.
Bread. Bread. It looks like bread with a TH at the
Yeah,
end.
that's weird.
Bread.
10 inch depth of the
No, not inch.
Berthen. 10 in depth
Yeah,
of the Berthen of 191 over 63.95.
that's a
tons.
fraction.
They got fractions in here, folks.
It's
I'm
a
seeing that.
description.
I am seeing this for the first time, so I'm just rolling with it.
I haven't seen it in 3 weeks. It's a description of what she looks like. They took off
And-
with the ship. The ship is a her. They cut her cables and ran.
Like,
Set her free.
and had on board a cargo as follows. There was 21 butts of sherry wine, 14 barrels, due of
Now
11.
the T's
11.
in butts are actually T's.
Yeah.
It's 2 T's. It's BUTTS. Butts.
66 quarters
Cakes.
cakes do F7
Oh my
over
God.
2 do.
This is
Oh my
torture.
God, this is
Just
how
100 barrels, another 109 butts.
this is how they
half
wrote
dues.
forks.
3 butts of brandy. I don't say butts are barrels. Is that what they're?
There's-
This says, but this word says 100 barrels, and then it's 109 butts with 2 T's. BUTTS. What is the 1799 definition of a butt or butts? 4 dew, 12 half dew vinegar, 3,000 jars of oil, 800 dew olives, 100 bales of paper. Oh my goodness. Go up to the next
This-
paragraph.
This is
That was semi-torturous.
that was
We got 6 more articles to do.
this is gonna be a long one. On the
Third,
third
31st, 33rd
infantry
infantry.
off the Dry Tortugas.
Dry
Okay, everybody,
Tortuga.
Dry Tortugas is Key West, Florida, just for those who might not know.
Fort
So, on the
Jefferson.
third
Fort Jefferson.
something of Dry Tortugas was
That's
boarded
infantry.
by the yes, that's infantry. So the third infantry off the Dry Tortugas was boarded by
You cut out.
Greyhound.
You cut out
Was-
by
Was
the British.
boarded by the British frigate Greyhound, having in oh my gosh, provisions. I'm gonna say provisions.
That's 4
Seven.
F's.
That is 4 F's. I don't know.
POFFEFFION.
Provisions. 7 Spanish prizes, all richly laden and bound for Kingston, off Cape Florida. Spoke the ship Rose Nicholas of
I think it's supposed to be New York.
and New York, ship Independence of Boston, and a share belonging to Rhode Island, name unknown, in company, well armed, from the Havana, bound to America. Wow.
Oh, come on. Finish it. Finish it.
The Congress of 36 guns
Mhm.
building at the United States Navy Yard at Portsmouth will be launched in 10 or 12 days.
You call it
That's-
Portsmouth? Wow, that was really cool. It's really interesting, but it's also distracting because you got so many F's that are S's. It's just. Next
Yes.
article.
Have at it.
On to the next article, which is more, I want to say, an advertisement. I don't know. So it's still from the Library of Congress. Now it's the Pacific. The Pacific. I added an S. The Pacific Commercial Advertiser. This is interesting. Of Honolulu, Hawaiian Islands. September 11, 1904. Article reads, hunts for buried pirate gold on the Florida Keys. The news went all the way up to Honolulu, Hawaii. Wow. St. Petersburg, Florida, August 10th. From Florida is famous not only for treasures of golden oranges and other semi-tropical fruits, but also for its stores of hidden gold. Where are these stores? The gold is hidden, but it didn't say the store was hidden. Which the native Floridians asserts were buried along its sandy shores long ago. So everything is hidden, right? All I find is seashells. And a sea urchin one time. There is a story extant here that old pirates by the name of Gomez, who is said to have been a member of Gasparilla's band of cutthroats, was present when the pirate chief landed and buried his treasure. Okay, y'all remember the movie from like the 90s I forget the female's name, but she was in Beetlejuice. But it's called Cutthroat Island. I want to watch that one again.
Oh,
Is it
yes.
Gina Davis? It was Gina Davis.
I think it
I think
was.
that was her name. When the pirate ship of Gasparilla was captured, the life of Gomez was spared on an account of his youth. Maybe he found the Fountain of Youth. He was spared because he was young. That doesn't sound right. I don't think they didn't know they did that. Paragraphs. They heard. Yeah, sorry, babe.
I was like, what? But the paragraph under it ties into
Well, a lot of it's interesting, but go for it.
a Punta Gorda man says that some years ago, 2 unknown young men came on shore from a small sloop and camped for some weeks on an island north of Gasparilla Island. They spent several weeks there and then departed as secretly as they came. Now, this is interesting because it's the
You cut out
Fountain of Youth in
Babe, your mic cut out again.
our next topic is in Punta Gorda with the Fountain of Youth. So this is
Well, that's why
interesting.
my eyes jumped over to the paragraph right next to it. They heard sounds as if a number of men were being shot and then thrown overboard from a boat. They heard the pistol shots, the shrieks of horror, curses, and the great splashes when the bodies of the dead pirates struck the water. So I saw the word "the water," and I was like, "Ooh, is that the water?" Because he was so young. But now that I read it, it's not. So why was he spared? Because he was so young, but yet something else is going on. Shifty little pirates.
Well, it makes you think of the movie Pirates of the Caribbean because in the very beginning, the kid was a kid. He was a boy, technically. And somehow he managed to survive, of course, right?
He jumped
And-
overboard.
And this was a young Gomez.
Gomez, very common last name. The fact that so many parties came to Florida to look for buried treasures is accounted for in this way. After these stories of wealth were buried, many of the pirates found homes in the distant lands. You know, because your bank needs to be over there, and you're over here, so they think you obviously buried distant lands. So I'm over here, but I do know how to get to my bank.
Ooh, I'm going to read this section.
Go ahead.
In the tropics, everything changes within a few years.
That it does.
Visit a place today and then go back again in a year or so. And
The weather
you will-
alone.
And you will fail to recognize it. It may be overgrown by
Mhm.
tropical foliage or swept clear by wind and wave. Could they be talking about
Hurricanes.
hurricanes? In one instance, I have heard how a pirate chief told his men that they were among the Windward Islands when they were among the Florida Keys. The
Ooh.
captain probably did this in order to hide the exact location of a treasure, which he and his men were then secreting on some island. One sandy Florida key looks as much like another sandy key as one black cat resembles another.
Meow.
Perhaps in the future years, some of the golden deposits may be unearthed, but it will probably be through accident that they were
Mhm.
even discovered. It will not be by following in the footsteps of thousands who have traveled the road before.
That sounds about right.
Very
All right.
interesting.
That is just
Hard-
even bits and pieces of this
That's-
article.
There's a lot. So again, description will be down below if you want to check that out.
We're just putting out teasers. Next article. Is this the Shiner with one N? Shiner Gazette, Shiner, Texas, January 23rd, 1896. I had to clear my throat. Oops, lost it. There it is. So it says the Ransas, is that Ransas, Arkansas without the ark? Ransas wines, liquors, beer, not beers, beer, you get one, and cigars. I'm like, you put an S on everything but beer. Best bargains, largest and best stock. Wines, beer. No, I just skipped whatever. It reminds me of the song. I can't remember the group, but they sing a bunch of songs. Country group. Anywho, where does this start? It starts down here. Getting ready for war. You need the wines, the liquors, one beer, and cigars. Getting ready for war, babe. That makes sense. St. Louis, January 19th of 1896, I guess. A special to the Republic from Calabasas. Is that right? Calabasas, Florida. Says sensational stories are afloat. Are afloat here tonight. Governor Mitchell, at the request of the war adjutant, is that adjutant at Washington, has ordered General Houston to see the Florida War Department placed in readiness to take the field at a moment's notice.
A moment's notice.
I love those. What is that, TSA report? Yeah. Did you get the memo? That'd be great. Governor Mitchell, it is reported, will call the militia out tomorrow. They spaced out tomorrow. You see that? It's not. There's a space in there. It's two words. And this is 1896. They spaced out. It's so funny how the language changes. Similar request is reported here, southern states. The story has become generally known is causing a great excitement throughout. That's a typo. They did that twice.
They said it twice.
Throughout the South. The South will rise again. In tourism, anyways.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a lot in just that little bit. What's the I want to jump to the end of it. The pirates, the actual mention of pirates. There we go. Does that say? Oh, that's the actual separate article. Florida. Sorry. The pirates' battle on Galveston Island, 1817. From the discovery of Galveston Island in 1685 by the colony of LaSalle. That's a bank.
Yes, it
LaSalle
is.
Bank. Oh my God.
That is a bank. Wow.
I don't think they're a bank anymore. I think they got bought up by JP something
No,
or other.
I thought they got bought up by Bank of America.
Oh, sorry, America.
America.
LaSalle up to 1816. It had no permanent settlers. The ship of LaSalle LaSalle Rodeo. That's abbreviation. R on
Rodo.
the rodeo, but then
Road.
it's
Oh, there's an E there. It's road.
but then there's a space separation of LaSalle Rody.
Road
I-
on. It's
Rotor
on. Rotor on.
That typewriter was
They're
having some
Southern.
issues.
They really were
Southern?
Southern back there.
they typed how they thought and spoke. I should have you reading this.
The
Be more
ships of the
Southern.
so rotor on the white crested waves of the Gulf.
Oh my
And
God.
those daring Frenchmen under his command looked at the grass-covered island and then bore away to make new discoveries along the shores of the wild and unknown country.
God,
And
they make you.
for 130 years, the spot where now stands the flourishing city of Galveston was untrodden by the foot of
You're
the
kinda
United
mixing-
States race.
You had like 3 or 4 different accents going there.
I know, right?
You were like Yardy Pirates.
Occasionally, a few roving Indians resorted to the western end of the island for the purpose of fishing. But there were no human habitations upon it. In the beginning night of that 1816, however, ships again rode at anchor in the bay, and then Lafayette, afterwards known as the Pirate of the Gulf, landed with his men. At this time, the island was covered with
Oh no, you
bird
cut out.
deer. At this time, the island was covered with tall grass on which fed herds of deer. It was also infested with snakes
My
and
favorite.
was called Snake Island by those pirates.
New vacation color. Yes.
The
Hoist the
pirates.
colors.
Hoist the colors! And the pirates under Lafayette first occupied the island of Barataria.
Uh-oh.
It's a Barataria.
Uh-oh.
Is it a Tartaria from a Barataria?
It's the barbarians of Tartaria.
No, barbarians. But
Mm.
we're broken up and driven away from that place by the United States government. It is related of Lafayette that on one occasion, when the governor of Louisiana offered a 5,000 bounty for the head of Lafayette, the
Damn.
saucy pirates offered $15,000 for the head of the governor, which
Whoa.
so alarmed the
That'll
chief
start a war.
executive that he at once withdrew his reward.
That was a pissing contest if there ever was for 1896.
Wow.
I don't know, but who are you going to trust, the government or pirates? If you actually deliver, are they actually going to pay up? Now you got another war going on, right?
Oh,
There's always
my
an
goodness.
uprising. Oh my god. We're going to go on to the next article. We don't want to give away all those fun
Mm,
details. That was the Shiner Gazette of Shiner, Texas. The link is in the description box below. Holy cow.
There you
That was-
go.
That was awesome.
That was a fun one. Next, we have volume 29, number 1287, Wednesday of May 26, 1819. Volume 11, number 520, Tuesday, January 1st, 1805.
It's 2 different dates. That's funny.
That is interesting.
These are
right?
old newspapers, so I
Why
would
it's
be
published
confused.
like that.
This looks like the Bengal Uroka. If you look at the newspaper in the picture, like the Bengals. American extract. Relations with Spain. If you want to read that. One paragraph. It says Florida in that one. There it is. Read that paragraph that actually says Florida Pirates, I guess, because that is really hard to read. Can you read that? In the month of August 1814 is in the second column at the top.
Oh, okay. I was a little further down. Sorry about that, folks.
That's all good.
Alrighty.
Old papers.
In the month of August 1814, while a war existed between the United States and Great Britain, to which Spain had formally declared herself neutral, a British force, not in the fresh pursuit of a defeated and flying enemy, no. Not overstepping an imaginary and equivocal boundary between their own territories and those belonging, in some sort, as much to their enemy as to Spain.
Okay, did any of that make sense to you? I'm like, you, without saying anything, I'm like, it's not the way you read it, because I'm reading along with you. I'm looking at it going,
this is how they wrote back then.
I know, but it's like no different than today. I'm reading articles even today, and I'm like, you just said a lot. And I feel like I don't know what you were talking about, but just blah, 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 blah. In the month, time and date, while a war was going on between the States and Britain, then they included Spain to say they were neutral. When they go back to Britain, and then they talk. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Those belonging in some sort to enemy to Spain. Oh, I don't know. Carry on. Sorry, that just...
We'll try. We'll try to put this together here for everybody.
Maybe just me. It's probably just me. It's okay.
But, however, and approaching by sea and by a broad and open invasion of the Spanish province at 1,000 miles,
really,
or an ocean's distance from any British territory, landed in Florida, took possession of Pensacola and the fort of Barances, and invited by public proclamations all the runaway Negroes, all the savage Indians, all the pirates,
very offensive,
all the traitors to their country who they knew or imagined to exist within reach of their summons to join their standard and wage an exterminating war against the portion of the United States. Immediately boarding.
So Spain invaded Pensacola.
It thus violated territory of Spain.
Oh, so the British took over Pensacola. Or the states took over Pensacola. See, they said a lot, and I'm like, there's 3 countries listed. There's insults to injury of listing and naming people a certain way, and then going, hey, somebody said, hey, rally with me so we can exterminate this country. And I'm thinking the pirates, the natives, and everybody else stand there going like, there's Britain, Spain, and the States. We don't like none of y'all. Why would we sign up with any of y'all? That article just gave me a headache, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, that's why.
Yeah, the British basically landed in Pensacola and took over the fort, and thus basically went to war with Spain.
I can see why this paper didn't do very well. On to the next.
There's a lot more in there, folks. Again,
I'm done. That one gave me a headache. The other ones were funny. That one gave me a headache. Oh my goodness. This is the Gazette of Portland, Maine? What's ME? Maine. I thought everything was M. I've never seen ME. Oh my god. That article did me in. It's not Massachusetts. I'm like, if you know what it is, tell me, babe. It just takes longer for me to figure it out on my own. Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you have to look it up too?
That should be Portland, Maine. Or no. Yeah, that's Maine.
That is
That's
Maine?
what I
I
thought.
don't think it was
Yeah,
Maine.
Portland, Maine. Yeah, ME is Maine. I thought it was.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it
because
was,
most
wow.
people, okay, the confusion
Sorry, Maine.
the confusion sets in everybody because everyone knows of
Portland,
Oregon, right? So anyone thinks
We
Portland,
don't talk about Maine.
think of Oregon. You're not Portland, Maine. You're like, huh? So I don't know.
Yeah. I gotta.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
what do
read.
we got?
I gotta blow my nose.
The Gazette, Portland, Maine, April 1998. Looks like there's one section here. Alrighty. Let's find the paragraph.
Did you hear that?
No.
I muted myself and I heard myself with the door closed through your microphone in my headset. I sneezed that hard. Carry on.
Okay, here we go. That starts off with. Okay. The captain will find an advantage. The
You cut out right after you said captain.
The captain too will find an advantage in obtaining the approbation of his employer. He has usually, oh my gosh, we're back to the S and F mix up. Sorry. His employer, he has usually a property in some part of the cargo, and consequently an interest in making his voyage safe and expeditious.
Okay, that word safe. Look at how the F-A-F-E, safe. But we have S-A, like that's a good example right there.
Wow.
And the expeditious.
Okay. If be attacked, even with a superior force, it is possible that he may be defeated or at least meet with hard blows and heavy damage. And he must be a singular commander who prefers fighting for the love of it merely to a tight hull, found spars, hull ridging, and a quick passage, and still more rare, must be those characters who, by beginning an engagement, would expose themselves to the risque of being treated as pirates.
Yar.
If taken either by their adversaries or by other vessels of the famed nation. Ooh, so if they were taken by their adversaries or by other vessels, they would be treated as pirates.
So the enemy is the enemy. They just slap a label on you and
So that's
don't care.
That's that article.
Wow. See, I understood that one. But on to the next.
Okay, I think the next one has one passage in it, so you can run with that.
Yeah. Gazette of the United States, an evening appetizer, Philadelphia, January 4th, 1794. Extract from the Colombian Sentinel. What is that?
Sentinel, yeah.
Yeah, Sentinel, but I usually see Sentinel, I don't know why, with an S. Oh, man. In vain must we rely on foreign aid. Where have I heard that before? Anyways, by our own arms, our commerce must be freed. But if you say S instead of freed, so it's serried.
Yeah, it's
Serried. That's pretty.
serene.
If you get rid of the R, it's just seed. In the United States, in Congress, the affirmative
Yeah.
Congress,
Assembled.
affirmative,
It's assembled, but it's
affirmative, have only to order immediate purchase of 8 or 10 flutes,
stout.
frigates. I like frigates.
Stout frigates. Frigates.
Or surrogates. This is the S. It's a surrogates. Ooh, surrogates. So you play on words there. And no doubt, that's a whole nother, no doubt, baby, can be entertained that the examples would cheerfully be compelled with, and that this force would be sufficient to keep the pirates within their own ports. It refutes, however, with the wisdom of those. I have to retrain my brain every time I'm seeing the FS. Of those whom we have deputed to give laws to the Union to decide whether an armed force or money presents
or
like
money presents
FS
Yes.
can
best be employed. Yes.
I'm stuck on an F.
That F and oh my goodness.
F and my goodness.
That's-
Economy may with what? That's an with.
with the
With-
ladder.
Those are T's though. Look at the ladder. National dignity. You lost it with the FS. May deemed the former. Yeah. May dignity
Demand.
may deem the former. The formers. The former. Is it an F or an S? Like no matter how you play on it, it just scrambles the brain. It's like playing Sudoku. On to the next. Was that the last one, right? That
One
was it.
more.
Oh, I meant the paragraph.
Yeah.
On to the last one, which is the next one. Which
All
is
right, everybody.
the-
My
probably the
goodness.
easiest one. Carry on, babe. Do it.
Alrighty. The Lakeland Evening Telegram. Hey, I got a telegram on my phone. Okay, the Lakeland Evening Telegram, Lakeland, Florida, January 29th, 1916. We have a great Gasparilla furniture sale. Come on down and get your stuff. Get all your pirate needs at the great
Gold booty sold
Gasparilla.
separately with every chest,
Arr.
right? Your gold doubloons.
Okay.
Get your gold doubloons. They're sold separately from your treasure chest.
And don't be a hyphenated South Floridian. Trade with South Florida firms. Come to the South Florida Fair and Gasparilla Carnival, February 4th of 20. Oh, wait. I almost said 20.
I know.
February 4th to the 12th, 1916. Don't miss out.
February 4th is my birthday, but that's about, what, 60 years, 80 years ahead of when I was actually born. But February
Okay.
4th is good.
I am actually going to read this because it is worthy of it.
Story of
Here
the
we go.
Gasparilla Bloody
Yes.
Pirate Chief.
Here is everything wrapped up in one, so to speak. Okay. Story of Gasparilla, the Bloody Pirate Chief. In
Yar.
telling the story of the genesis and birth of the Great Gasparilla Carnival, with which the city of Tampa plans to entertain the people of this state and its assembled guests from many other states, it is so necessary to tell the story of Gasparilla and the story of Ye Mystic Crew, which has made Gasparilla famous, that the tale of the pirate crew must of necessity come first in the story. It should be explained that the Gasparilla Carnival and Ye Mystic Crew of Gasparilla are not one and the same prepositions. Ye Mystic Crew will have their celebration this year as they had since 1904, but their ball will remain their own as it has always been. They are financing their own undertaking, and it will cost them more than $6,000 at that time. Wow. And with about 60 other organizations in making the Gasparilla Carnival the great success it is certain to be. The carnival idea was born in the heads of a few premier boosters in the Boosters Committee. That aggression of live wires in the Tampa Merchants Association, which is continually doing things.
Committees.
Committees. It came along after Tampa Nama Night. Ooh,
Tamparama.
Tampa Nama Night. All right.
It's Panama. It's Panama. That just
Is-
sounds like a female product.
Isn't that name great? With a question mark. Already, there are indications that the Gasparilla Festival, February 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th,
Oh my god, they actually listed it.
every freaking thing they listed, so I'm going to read them to you, will be the biggest thing that Tampa has ever tried, and one of the biggest things pulled off in the South.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mhm.
possibilities of a winter festival are unlimited, and there are no better place, far
Far.
none, in the nation than Tampa to have the big show.
Bar
And that name, Gasparilla Carnival.
Carnival.
The Carnival.
Carnival.
It can't be beaten. The moment a man hears that name, he is obsessed with a desire to know the records. Who was Gasparilla? Why was Gasparilla? What was Gasparilla? When was Gasparilla? It is a Pullman car, or a breakfast food, or a cigar, or a Rocco's horse. Oh, racehorse. Rocco. It's a Rocco horse. Never know.
That was the bar.
It's a racehorse. Listen, folks. Gasparilla was a pirate. Arr! Good old Gasparilla is no more. Like Julius Caesar, he is dead. And
wow, this is a great article.
And like Julius Caesar, he is to become famous. He was a rover of the seas, and his modern prototypes are sea rovers too.
He was a vacuum?
With which few words let us tell how ye mystic crew of Gasparilla came to be. Idea born in George Hardy's head. Okay.
Wait, what?
Idea born in George Hardy's head.
The sentence before that. The few words.
Oh. With which few words let us tell how ye mystic crew of Gasparilla came to be.
Inside someone's head.
Yes. In 1904, George Hardy, fondly remembered, was
in the
government service in the city. He came from New Orleans, where he is now residing, and the doings of the Knights of Comus, C-O-M-U-S, Comus, and the others of that merry crew who make the New Orleans Mardi Gras famous from one end of the country to the other, were fresh in his mind. He saw the possibilities of the city and suggested to some kindred spirits the possibilities of Tampa putting on a show similar to that of the Ran Out of Ink.
I think it's just Mardi Gras.
It's Mardi Gras, but they ran out of ink there.
Show me to get some beads, baby.
Okay, here we go. The man who named the crew had...
This is a wholesome family event, by the way. Mardi Gras is not, but apparently this is supposed to be, but similar, right? Wholesome family event. Bring the kids out. Are we having the same problem today?
The man who named the crew had an to do. His average in the Namers League was about .600. He should be remembered with pride. Okay, sure.
I don't know what that was about.
The name is reminiscent of the South in every sound. The Gaity. I don't know. The linger, the mysticism of the Great Gulf is in every syllable. Coral strands, pirate havens, palm line, desperate battles, scenes of bloodshed and rapine, the milder side of pirate life, with the days spent on the something.
There are some typos in this. It's like they were getting bored with their own article. I'm like, you have a paragraph in there that's added that don't make sense. I swear, it's like when you're doing an essay and you are like 500 words short, so you just start putting crap in everywhere. It
I don't
doesn't
know.
even make sense.
There we go. Gasparilla was one of the buccaneers who made the Gulf a terror.
You don't want to read the title? Gasparilla
Oh.
and gay.
Gasparilla, a gay dog. Yes. Gasparilla, a gay dog.
Happy. It means
Alrighty.
happy. Apparently.
Yes.
Back in the day, Gasparilla, a happy dog, is what we would say today.
Alrighty. Yep. Okay, so Gasparilla was one of the buccaneers who made the Gulf a terror to honest tradesmen in the troubled days of the close of the 18th century and the beginning of the 19th. Spain's power in the New World was fast disintegrating. The shores of the Gulf were practically no man's land. Great Britain, France, Spain, the new and the weak nation, the United States, each flew its flag over the shores washed by the Gulf Stream. It was no man's land, and the might of the strong hand made right.
That's a cluster of flags.
On the shores of Louisiana and in the bayous of Plaquemina and Atchafalaya
That was good.
were the headquarters of the Ravager Lafayette, one of the bloodiest of pirates. He gathered together hundreds of violent men in a dozen or so vessels and ruled as a king. In such a kingdom, there is always dissension, and Gasparilla, after a disagreement with Lafayette over some of the loot, probably the affections of some fair maiden, torn from her home, broke away from the band, took with him the ship he commanded and the bloody crew who did his bidding, and sailed across the Gulf to the coast of Florida. Pensacola was a settlement even then, but down the long stretch of the Florida coast, there was hardly another bay that had even a fisherman's hut along the shore. Hiding places there were in plenty among the keys and bays of the coast. When fleeing from government ships, or occasionally a sloop of one
War.
something, it's cut off,
It's like
would
so much
try
paper that bad.
would try to retaliate for some of the pirates' bloody jobs, or when seeking rest after a loot, there was plenty of opportunity to hide. Found haven on Gasparilla Isle. On Gasparilla Island, on which the phosphate port of Boca Grande is
God.
now looted, Gasparilla found the haven he was seeking. It of Charlotte Harbor in any one of a dozen of whose smaller bays.
Charlotte Harbor is
Creek-
near Punta
Sure.
Gorda.
Yes, Charlotte Harbor is near Punta Gorda.
Essentially in the same harbor, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And whose smaller bays, creek mouths, and other hiding places there was plenty of hunts for him to escape. Any prying eyes. There was the best of chances for him to sally forth on his deeds of blood for weeks of rest. There was a pleasant isle, a balmy climate, and the cooling breeze of the Gulf to make life easy.
After You
This,
slayed a few people and then took
Yeah,
the loot
you know.
and ran. It's like
This-
the mafia of the sea.
really,
Wow. You can definitely pay for your vacation home.
okay. This must have been about the year 1800. Gasparilla built a mansion on the Isle that still carries his name, and here he lived like a king with
Right.
his bloodthirsty pirates as
Right.
the courtiers. They were not wanting ladies in this court.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay.
No, we got female troubles.
Gasparilla had a great eye for feminine beauty. Okay. Gasparilla had a great eye for feminine beauty, and his course of action when taking a captured ship was always the same. Overboard with the men.
Overboard with the men.
Overboard with the men.
Save.
Walk the plank, you bloody pirate.
It says save the women.
Save the women, however,
Or who they're
Was-
probably married to.
was his invariable order. The men walk the plank. Yep, told you.
The women
The
need
men
saving.
walk the plank and the women captives, especially if they had any claim to good looks, were taken to the island of Gasparilla.
Doomed forever.
In the course of time, the bloody pirate accumulated a hoard of feminine beauty that would have done credit to King Solomon or the Grand Nazim himself.
Right?
But it was this practice of stealing the women of the unlucky vessels that came in his power that led to his ruin.
Isn't that any man's ruin? A Jezebel looking.
Oh, what does that say? His predictions were reported. I don't know. Were reported to the United States government, and a frigate was sent into the Gulf waters to run him down. Whoa.
Run him down.
Okay.
Like roadkill.
So, cornered and hung from yard. After a long
Yard
chase through the 10,000 islands and up and down the coast, the pirate was at last cornered in Lemon Bay as he was trying to make his way through Gasparilla Sound into Charlotte Harbor.
Okay, is that where you get when life hands you lemons?
Lemon Bay, baby.
When life hands you lemon, jump in the sea.
Well, I mean, he should have went to Orange Bay. He would have had orange juice. He went to the wrong bay. Okay,
Lemon.
a bloody battle ensued. The pirate was no coward, and his crew fought, as they well knew, with halters around their necks, their carronades, and even their long tom was no match for the heavier guns, and they surrendered at last. Few were left, according to the tradition that has come down. Gasparilla was one of the captives, so the story runs, and he suffered the speedy penalty of his crimes that is proverbial in the pirate's story. In
Stealing
short, he was hung at the yard arm of his own boat. The pirate's nest was broken up. The Vivi of female beauty was released and many of them returned to their homes. Of the mansion of Gasparilla is shrouded in the mist of antiquity. What became of the mansion of Gasparilla? That is a question. One legend has it that the frigate burned out the pirate's nest,
I doubt it.
root and branch, and destroyed the home. I highly doubt that happened. Another story has it that it endured for many years, though avoided by the occasional fishermen who halted on that deserted coast. The feeling being widespread that it was haunted.
Of course.
This story is it that the old place was finally blah 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 blah.
Continue on next page.
So you would have to go find that apparently. But, wow,
Cliffhanger.
that is a lot. So yes, that's a nice cliffhanger there.
That wasn't even like about this. It was about the parade and all of the decorations and the committees. For the longest time, I'm like, when are they actually going to talk about the pirate guest? I'm like, okay, whatever, okay. Long-winded. All right.
Video's done. We're back on screen.
And now here's a word from our unofficial sponsor, because we don't have one.
Yo-ho and blow the man down. It's time to be bacon, Lieutenant Martin. Yo-ho and blow the man down. Oh, give me a plank that looks out on the sea. Yo-ho and blow the man down.
Well, crew, here we are in Florida. And there's my old buddy, Ponce de Leon. Hi, Leon.
Hi, Horatio.
Why so sad? Still didn't find the fountain of youth, eh?
No, and if I don't go back to Spain with some great discovery, the Queen is going to flip her royal wig.
Well, how about discovering a tasty sweet cereal that stays crunchy even in milk?
Yum, it's made of corn.
And oats for nutritiousness.
That means it's good for you.
I'd love it. Where do I find it?
Here, it's Captain Crunch cereal, named after me.
This is a great discovery. Captain Crunch, I claim thee and all thy goodness in the name of Queen Isabella of Spain.
What does that mean, Captain?
I'm not sure, Dave, but I think I'm engaged.
Captain Crunch, from your friends at Quaker Oats.
Muted. Woo!
And that's Cap'n, not Captain.
Yeah, it's capping.
That's a whole nother topic, right?
Wow.
My, how things have changed.
So, what'd y'all think about the pirates?
The 1,700 newspaper articles. Since 1700s.
Wow.
I underestimated the value and quality of grammar in the 1700s. The emphasis of what was going on there. It was hilarious. Good. Because at least it went in that direction. I'm like, we were having a hoot while doing it. We were shocked that was actually over an hour long video. I'm like, next time, I guess I'll shave off a few articles. But when we were reading it, we were just going along. I'm glad it was pre-recorded because it would probably ended up longer. And it was even for only an hour pre-recorded. I was wiped out. Like the emphasis. You locked up. You froze.
Yeah, I froze again. Those F and S's and just, oh my goodness, the grammar back then and trying to read that off the fly. Holy smokes, because that's something that we still try to bring with the research here that we present is that genuine reaction. So when JJ finds the research mostly
I glanced
does
at
it. She'll glance at it, look over it. I wait till we actually start doing it. So that's why I'm like,
I still forget
oh
what
my
the article was
it's-
about besides the topic. I reading each article or glancing at it going, I want to take somewhat of a mental note what they're going to talk about. Are they going to talk about where they buried the treasure? Are they going to talk about a war? Are they going to talk about a certain pirate? I'll still forget when we go into actually looking and reading at it. And buffer. I'm pirate buffering.
You're pirate buffering.
Oh my gosh. Anywho,
Okay,
so those are little teasers. All the links are in the description box.
Below. And this ties into our next article series that
Everything's connected.
that we are going to start right now.
Get your glass of water. Get refreshed. Or coffee. If you like.
Or should we wait? Should we wait? Okay. Does everybody need like a 3-minute break? You know, bathroom.
No, we
water,
just listen to it in the
coffee,
background.
anything? They're
Because the
just good.
video's on loop while we're trying to read. It's a wash.
Oh my
That was a
goodness.
pun. It's just a wash.
Okay.
All good.
Get it up here, and here we go.
Treatment plant position title jobs. To update our names, Purple Pirate and Captain Coffee was for the pirate articles. So we're going into Florida's artesian wells and Punta Gorda, which I will mess up a lot because I was reading the articles and kept saying Punta. So to have fun with our little subtitle names, what should we change it to? Types of jobs that deal with water and rivers and canals. The hydrologist. The hydrologist. Log. Like water in the logs of water. We did that in Michigan. They logged them water reports. Mm-hmm. That good?
There you go. I'm going to be the artesian well quality controller.
Quality control. That's what I was trying to get to before. Was the like I'm not eating it. I'm just tasting the quality test control, whatever they call it.
Yeah, we'll see if this radium infused water will make me all glowy.
Well, today it burns and smells like eggs, spoiled eggs, but it burned my mouth like a sunburn. So maybe 108 years ago, before they did what they did, and it was free flowing. That's what it is. It's a free flowing system where it was beneficial, and then they engineered some great ideas that just made it smell like eggs and burn like the sun was in your mouth. I'm good.
And coming up, we will see how the pirates are connected to the Fountain of Youth and the artesian well.
If you haven't heard already, I am going to be great tonight.
It's only 5 o'clock in the morning. We've been working on it all night,
And my sleep schedule is with the moon schedule, and according to somebody we had a conversation with, when we have Frankie Bernie on, I will do my subtitle as being a lunatic. Because my sleep pattern is lined up with the moon. If the moon is in the sky, I am awake. So it doesn't matter that it's 5:30 in the morning and I've been up because I was sleeping, but brain fog will settle in when it wants to. So 5:30 a.m. or p.m., as long as the moon's up, I'm up. So we're going to get started in the articles of Florida, more so regarding Punta Gorda, Florida, in Charlotte Harbor, with some of these wonderful, fun articles that we have sourced out of the Library of Congress. Most of these articles are dated around 1915, but we will share in a video with music in background as we talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. Here we go.
do it, do it, do it.
Alrighty. And first we have the Florida of today, as in TO-DAY. The Florida of today is a guide for tourists and settlers. This is a booklet out of the Library of Congress. With maps and illustrations, New York, D. Appleton and Company, 1889. And we are going to look at page 67, where it starts with mineral waters. The great variant and abundance of mineral deposits in Florida naturally give numerous mineral springs. The mineral waters are in the main solutions of lime, alumina, and iron, but soda, sulfur,
Magnesia. You come out.
magnesia,
Your
and soda, which you, yeah, soda, okay,
so
sulfur, and
soda.
potash occur frequently,
Potash.
and iodine and bromine,
Romaine. Mine.
somewhat rarely. Ponce de Leon's fountain of perpetual youth has been discovered a score of times, pretty much
Okay.
all over the state.
Ah,
And
interesting.
yes,
There's
and
more than one, or is it just the state of Florida? The peninsula, maybe.
the modern wonder is that Grandos Adelantado, I'm going to try that again, himself could not find it. Page 68.
Turn the page.
When it is so numerous today,
Right?
among the mineral springs conspicuous are the Newport Springs on St. Mark's River in Wauchula County, the Hampton Springs of Taylor County, the White Sulphur Springs of Hamilton County, the Suwannee Springs of Suwannee County, and the Green Cove Springs of Clay County.
Super fabulous. So this was dated when?
1889.
Booklet of Florida of today of 1889. It has more than just the information about the waters in it. That's interesting just to know. So we're going to jump to some articles. 1889, 25 years later, roughly. If I did the math right.
Yeah.
The
next article would be the Punta Gorda Herald, Punta Gorda, Florida, Florida. March 18th, 1915.
1915. A few facts pertaining to Punta Gorda and vicinity. Information for home seekers and the investor and those in search of health, recreation, etc. Everything sounds like a brochure. Everything's like, come to Florida. Seriously, paradise. Hello. We're going to skip through most of it. It talks about other things. Our main focus is the drinking water. I do like the paragraph above it that states about the climate here. A man can work outdoors here any and every day in the year. Prostrations from heat never occur. The climate here is ideal the year round. Prostrations.
Does anybody know what prostrations means? Does anybody know? If not, I will tell you.
Share with the rest of the
Prostration
class.
is the state of lying stretched out on the ground with one's face planted downward. That's prostration. So apparently,
That's adulting.
prostration from heat does not occur, apparently, in the climate year round.
Not in 1915,
Not in 1915, apparently.
according to this.
Which is interesting because there's at least 2 to 3 months
We're just
out of the
starting
year
summer.
where it's like 103 degrees plus.
Wasn't
so-
it 108 today? Or it felt like 108? You can't do outside work, let alone roofers. And any kind of job,
It's hot.
they don't allow it. Like in Texas, it's prohibitable.
Prohibitado.
You will be more than prostrated if you
Yes.
attempt to do
Again,
anything
stretched out on the ground
face
with
down.
one's face planted downward. You are face planted.
Hmm. This isn't sunbathing on the beach, though.
All right, so what does the rest of it say?
Okay, flowing artesian wells may be obtained here at varying depths, and a number of them are now in use in and about town. Some for irrigation, others for supplying drinking water, etc. I love how they add etc. when they only listed 2 things. Can you at least give me a third one? Before the etc. It's like you're cutting yourself short. Sell it. Come on, sell it. The water from these artesian wells contain mineral properties and is said to possess. That's a funny word to use. How about contain? But possess medical value?
Medical.
Whoa. Interesting. Medical. Some citizens claiming to have been cautious on the word cured of various ailments by drinking it freely. It was free back then, right? It was freely flowing. The town owns 2 of these wells. Okay, then it's not free. A small one which supplies a public drinking fountain, and a large one that supplies fire protection through the main like fire protection. And okay, sure.
One was for drinking and the other one was for fire. So yeah,
The small
potable
one.
and non-potable water, I guess.
I don't know the usage. Potable is for drinking. Non-potable is for like.
Apparently putting out fires, according to this.
I thought they were gonna say for like irrigation / cattle, or livestock or something. No, it's for fire protection. Get your fire protection. They got insurance. We've been trying to get a hold of you. Your warranty insurance needs.
Okay. Oh,
Uh,
I can keep going. Centuries and centuries ago, Juan Ponce de Leon, one of Spain's greatest explorers, which we just talked about with pirates, right?
There's a connection.
When Spain was a country of conquest and mother of explorers, where are they now?
Was it now?
Set sail from Puerto Rico to find the Fountain of Youth, which the natives, aboriginals, indigenous of that island had caused him to believe existed somewhere to the westward. And it wasn't a dream of the Indians from time immemorial.
It wasn't.
It-
It wasn't.
It wasn't. No.
And it wasn't a dream of the Indians. That's such a weird sentence.
There has been a belief that a veritable fountain of youth existed where the sun goes down.
Where the sun don't shine.
The sun goes down. Okay.
Where the sun don't shine.
It started with the first man. It
Adam?
started with the first man, okay? Hold on, let me redo this. It started with the first man who saw the day grow old and cold and die on the crimson horizon of the west. What type of writing is this?
That was poetic.
Yes.
That.
So, and Juan Ponce de Leon set his sails for the west. He
The man
yearned.
died.
That's right, the man died.
In honor of the first man who died that grew old and cold. We're going
He
to the
yearned for the fabled fountain of youth. And on a bright morning in March, he sighted land and took that land in the name of the King of Spain. It was in the days of busy spring when she had set her looms in forest and on the sward, that's S-W-A-R-D, sward, and had woven festoons of flowers and wreaths of vines over the trees, and in the waist laces, and these beautiful denizens of the new wild land everywhere spread their fragrance and cast their glory. Wow,
that
this
whole thing
sentence.
was about flowers.
Holy moly.
It was all about flowers.
No wonder he named that new land Florida.
He didn't call it Florida. It was Florida.
So, apparently that's how that happened.
That thing. Okay, that kind of makes sense. If that is what the pieces I'm putting together, going Florida as we call it today, but I think it was Florida. You know, the English, American English is butchers everything.
And from March 27th, 1513, this country has borne the name when it was a wild new land peopled by savages. It was beautiful and alluring, and flowers bloomed, and all nature had spread an enticing lure over the face of the earth. And Florida has always been beautiful and attractive and, and alluring.
You lost your speech. It's just so amazing. Awestruck.
And,
You just awestruck.
and I'm telling you, Florida, it'll get you. And
In a good way.
a fit place for the human race to live and enjoy life in all its aspects of pleasure and happiness. The people of Florida possessing this fair land and its wonderful climate and its soil and its location in close proximity to the great markets of the world are failing their duty to themselves and their fellows when they fail to put forth all their efforts and all their intelligence and all their force to make Florida the veritable garden that it should be.
How many ands can you put in an article?
Man.
It almost sounds like you're adding all the ands. No, it's in the article.
I'm not.
And.
That's
It's like every 3 to 4 words. And. Like.
okay. I'll finish this
cow.
out. Whew. From its northernmost point to the Gulf of Mexico, Florida has soil that is capable of producing anything that will grow anywhere, that will contribute to the enjoyment, the happiness, the prosperity of the men and women of the world. There are millions who wait in the frozen north,
Yep.
that was us, for the gentle sun to pass over Florida and warm their lands out of the frost and snow and ice.
Yep.
That was us
It was
in
very
Michigan.
miserable.
And make possible another season of work,
Depressing.
another season of crops and fruits and flowers. Who would love Florida if they knew it as we know it? Who would be delighted with its sunny climate,
Yes.
with its breeze-swept borders,
Yes.
its never-ending seasons of production,
That's right.
and of flowers and warmth? Jacksonville metropolis. And
Oh my gosh. The flowers. There's pictures of these gorgeous white tropical looking hibiscus. I think they're hibiscus flowers at midnight because it was that flippin' warm in a delightful way of being warm. 85 degrees at night is not torturous unless the humidity is kicking up. But aside from that, it's absolutely wonderful. At midnight, yeah.
all right, next article.
What was the next article? Oh, this one over here. The Punta Gorda Herald, February 11th, 1915. The Punta Gorda Herald. In tropical southwest Florida, a seaport on the famous Charlotte Harbor, a town that is known for its natural attractions and the hospitality of a cosmopolitan citizenship. Punta Gorda climate and artesian water have relieved both residents and visitors of okay, this is gonna be a TMI warning right now. We're gonna get into personal health testimonies in some of these article stories. So TMI, it might bother some people, but this is what it was all about. Okay. Basically, health testimonies regarding kidney complaints, indigestion, gout, constipation, bronchial, I think that's like bronchitis or something, heart troubles, rheumatitis, like rheumatoid arthritis. Read their statements and tell it to the suffering humanity. As good as Hot Springs, Arkansas Fountain of Health, water and climate are free. I think you're getting that word mixed up. I don't think it means what you think it means. Okay, that Punta Gorda's artesian water has curative properties is testified to by many people who have been benefited by drinking it. Ex-Mayor A.W. Gilchrist considered it a remarkable and valuable asset to the locality, and he thinks that people suffering from those ailments which it will benefit should know of it. Coffee's done.
Yep.
Of a number of testimonials which he has collected, several follow. Others will be published later. So there are 3 separate articles from Library of Congress, from the Punta Gorda Herald, different dates and times, dates published, that we're going to go over and maybe see if they duplicate a little too much.
Yes,
What
and the main headline is Punta Gorda Climate and Artesian Water
This one,
have relieved both residents and visitors of kidney complaints, indigestion, gout, constipation, bronchial and heart troubles, rheumatism. Read their statements and tell it to suffering humanity. As good as Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Fountain of Health. Water and climate are free. Did you hear that, everybody? The Fountain of Health. Water and climate are free.
You know I read that already, right?
I know, but I had a,
You know?
I know, but that's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Here's the list of, that's only a few of the health issues, but
What else do we got?
well, the first testimony is from January 30th, 1915. Years ago, I went to New York to consult a specialist in regard to indigestion. No good was accomplished. Returning to Punta Gorda, I found the artesian city. Found it just completed. Huh. I tried its water. In a week's time, I was much improved from indigestion. What the heck were you eating in 1915? Have indigestion. That's heartburn, right? I was much improved, and in a month's time, I was cured. I have suffered with kidney troubles bordering on Bright's disease. I looked that up, but I can't remember what Bright's disease is. I was attended by a doctor, and 3 months after using this water, I was discharged. I am now free from both such problems. I was born in New York. Stated E. Wow Tiziski. It's hyphenated, and it kind of
Yes.
helps sometimes to hyphenate
And
funny names.
Bright's disease is an archaic term for what is now referred to as nephritis. Nephritis is an inflammation of the kidneys caused by toxins, infection, or autoimmune conditions.
Oh, so the industrial age was making people sick. Because if you're working in a factory in 1915, that's the only thing I think of. Because in 1915, there wasn't a McDonald's on every corner. People have fast food everywhere, and the convenience of poor nutritional foods that don't complement the body's need for actual nutrients causes most of these problems. So maybe it was the factories, assembly lines, and whatnot going on, or too much drink. Apparently drink was very popular. Cigar smoking, who knows? Like, there's no real account to say, why do you have this problem in the first place? Kidney problems in 1915? They still don't know much about like kidney problems today. Like, that's just
Especially here
crazy.
in Florida, where it's nothing but fruit trees, right? We're not talking about.
Well, he's in New York, came to Florida. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, next testimony. Again, Punta Gorda, January 30th, 1915. About 8 years ago, I came to Punta. I keep saying it wrong. Punta Gorda. Stopping here from about November till May. That's a snowbird. I had been under a doctor's care for 7 to 8 years, proceeding for gout and kidney troubles. In a very short time, the artesian water relieved me from all my pain. I have not since had a doctor for such a disease. My home was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This was from G. Hart. You want to read the next one?
Yeah, I was actually gonna drop down.
That one's about indigestion.
Yeah, I was gonna drop down another
That one.
I live at Robinson, Illinois. I was born in Rush County, Indiana. I have been coming to Punta Gorda for past 3 or 4 years, remaining 4 or 5 weeks. For years, I was troubled with constipation. Within a few days after my first visit to Punta Gorda, I was greatly benefited by drinking the artesian water here. I was soon entirely relieved. Returning home, this trouble would return. Almost immediately upon visit to Punta Gorda, I would be free from it. I ascribe it to the beneficial effects of that Punta Gorda artesian water. And again, that was January 30th, 1915.
That was a testament of F.A. Raines. Now, the description even in saying they're here for weeks or months. And it's within days they say that they're here in Florida. They're talking about having relief. Well, if you're coming from a northern state in wintertime, location matters. Your diet's going to automatically change. It's not just what you're drinking. That all of the fresher produce. To say if it's winter season or you're just from like northern states with less fruits and some vegetables, the climate itself changes your whole function of just us being here in a year and a half and 108 years later. We moved down here because we knew that the climate is more supportive and healthy for the body. Even though there's a McDonald's and fast food places everywhere, you actually feel sicker when you eat that stuff when you live in warmer climates. And if it's year round, you're going to get used to not eating it and staying away from it, kind of like an addiction habit. It's a habit form. In the northern states, again, fast food's everywhere also. And it's comfort food because it's cold and dreary. 9 months out of the year, I lived in Michigan, born and raised in Michigan. 9 months out of the year, you don't see the sun but once a month. And it could be literally an hour before the sun's going down, if you're lucky to even see it that day of the month. That makes a huge difference. That's why they call it seasonal depression even. It makes a huge difference. There's a lot of other factors going into besides just the water. But water is still very, very important. So it's interesting listening to other things that are sticking out from testimonies. And there is one in here from like Michigan. Did you find it?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I can read that.
Okay, I can't find it.
February 7th, 1915. I have been coming to Punta Gorda during the winter season for 3 years. I drink the Punta Gorda artesian well water. It has done me much good. For 2 years, it has been necessary for one of my family to use almost continually very strong cathartics considered the best there is. We arrived here in January 18th. 2 or 3 days after drinking this water, the medicine was discontinued. There is now no necessity for its use. We all think it the best water. we have ever used. This is the first time this particular member of my family has ever visited Punta Gorda from Detroit, Michigan.
See, there's other factors going into play with that. Also, if they were the only ones traveling to Florida, and then they brought the family with them, and they were all hanging out, they changed the way they eat because they're hanging out for a while. Also, you change what you drink, and then it was discontinued, not because they didn't need it anymore. It sounded like it was just discontinued. I don't know which came first, chicken or the egg. Anyways, there's actually one in here that's February 4th, which is my birthday, and it talks about rheumatoid rheumatis. Looks like rheumatis. February 14th, 1915. I came here in November of 1913. I had been suffering for 4 or 5 years with rheumatis. In 30 days, I was much relieved. In 8 weeks, I was free from all rheumatic, that's RHEUMATIC, rheumatic pains. So rheumatoid arthritis, I guess. I have not had any such pain here. I was scarcely able to walk. The rheumatitis has not returned. I cannot say too much for the beneficial effects I have received from drinking this water. I consider this a fine climate for heart trouble. So climate, heart trouble. Having myself been much relieved, I live in Fulton, Oswego County, New York. I left here in May 1914, returning in November of 1914. This is from S.B. Babcock. Babcock.
Babcock.
Oh my gosh.
It's like Babcock. Babcock.
With dyslexia, I put an R in there. Even though I didn't see an R, it put an R in there. I was like, Babcock. No, Babcock. Yay. That's interesting with the rheumatitis, and even this person, I want to say her for some reason, this person talking about heart troubles and climate change. Good grief. Scratch that. The fine climate that is here, from what the other article said, that it is fine climate year round. You won't be face planted down in the ground.
Yeah, apparently back then,
Oh my God.
it's not that hot where you won't be completely face planted into the dirt. Not quite yet.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Is there another
What else do we got?
condition? Let's see. This one says February 7th, 1915. The artesian water here is light and pleasant to the taste. I think it was free flowing at the time, like that wasn't a spigot to turn it off and on. There is no feeling of weight after drinking large quantities of this water, as there is in drinking rain or distilled water. This is very interesting because Old World Florida and Seth they just did a live stream talking about all these variations of water that you can drink and which one is most beneficial, and it all comes down to just personal preference and how you feel, it tastes, drink,
Yes,
I change my water all the time because my body feels like just changing. Nasty water in Michigan compared to just don't drink seawater. Do not drink the seawater. Where was I at? I have known much benefit to be derived from drinking this water among my patients. It is beneficial in disorders of kidney, bladder, and stomach issues. I have resided in Punta Gorda for the past 12 years. Okay, so how old are you, and do you look 12 years younger? But they came from Lafayetteville, North Carolina. This is from D.N. McQueen, MD, claiming to be a physician himself, going, these waters are good. So yeah, our bodies need certain things, but everybody is different. Because I think even Longo said he kind of enjoys what we consider that egg smell. And I'm sitting there going, I've always enjoyed the smell of fresh gasoline back in the 90s. I would sit in the car, my parents would get out and fill it up. There was this fresh, is it menthol? It's ethanol. Which is also a similar smell that never bothered me, was those industrial Sharpie markers. My dad had them all over the place. They're not the Sharpie markers, that you buy at the store. These are the industrial grade, like warehouse Sharpie markers, the original Sharpie markers, I guess, of the 90s, whatever. There was a smell to it that everybody's different. And just like, yeah, I might have gotten high off of something that once in a while, like, oh, I just enjoy that smell. Like, I don't like lavender or jasmine, but I like lilac, and I like Sharpie markers and ethanol. That's a combination. But it's interesting that everybody's different for various reasons of needs, to say health issues alike. My family, my parents, I have an older brother and sister, all suffered from kidney stones. By the time they were 25, we grew up on well water on a hill in Oakland County, Michigan, Waterford, Michigan, actually. And it was White Lake, and then it was Waterford. So that was well water, out of the faucet, out of the garden hose. I was a picky eater, so there's factors to play. And by the time that you were 18 to 25, in my family, you had kidney stones. I am 40 years old, and I have never had kidney stones. But everybody else has, and they've had it more than once in their life. So, you know what? I sponsor being a picky or finicky, selective eater. When in the 90s, anyways, I was just saying something about even being from the same family plays a part in going factors. Someone's affected by it and other people aren't. All right, next article is pretty much, we're going over testimonies of health issues. We're going to try and hit some health issues that we haven't read about. I think
we are at the Punta Gorda Herald, Punta Gorda, Florida,
March
July. 4th. Whoa, what?
You're changing the article.
Oh.
The article we have the article paper itself. There was February 1915. We have March 1915 and August of 1915. So we're going to jump over to March and see if there's any little differences or too many similarities, or they're just taking the same thing and like reprinting it every month or every few months because it could help some people.
Oh, but you're missing the July 8th one.
Oh, back in the February?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No. It's the Punta Gorda Herald, Punta Gorda, Florida, July 8th, 1915. It's the main newspaper title. July 8th, 1915.
That's no. That's last. We're doing July last.
Oh, okay.
That's the classified one. No, we're doing we're doing the last.
I got excited, folks. Sorry. I got a little rambunctious. I get a little rambunctious sometimes.
A little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Whoa, Nelly.
March 4th, 1915.
Still the Punta Gorda Herald.
Yes.
March 4th, 1915 edition. Okay. It still says Punta Gorda, Climate, Artesian Well have relieved both residents and visitors. It's a different font style of these health ailments: kidney complaints, indigestion, gout, constipation, bronchial, sounds like a dinosaur, heart troubles, rheumatitis, hay fever, asthma, and nervousness. So they added to the list. Fountain of Health, as good as hot springs, Arkansas. Water and climate free. I don't know if they make water and climate free. It's like, it's weird how they list that. Like, it's free. I'm like, yeah, you can walk around. Everything's free. Whatever is free. Signed statements. Analysts and medic, pharma, addict, bear testimony to the testimonies. I think this repeats itself. The Punta Gorda artesian water has curative properties testified to by many people who have been drinking. It is considered a remarkable, valuable asset to the local people suffering from those ailments, which it will benefit, should know of it. Yes, that is repeated, which I get, but it doesn't start with the ex-mayor. But it does say, years ago I went to New York to consult a specialist. I read that one. Is that Michigan one in here too? That says Philadelphia. Yep, this is a repeat. Indigestion. Rush County, you read that one.
Yeah.
So this is the next month in the same year of 1915. Kidney problems. So they just did a reprint, which I get, some advertisement testimonies. If you missed it, one of your issues of magazine, newspapers. Bright's disease. Looking for, yep, I read that one. This is, I arrived from Shepherd, Michigan, December 11th of 1914. I've been troubled for a number of years of constipation issues. Okay, let's try and find something a little different. There's the February 4th. I read that one. So this is a repeat, but this one has a water analyzed at the very end of it.
This one's a little different. This is February 13th, 1915. This is my 6th winter here. The climate and the water agree with me. By coming here, 5 years have been added to my life. On February 25th, I will be 81 years old. I like the climate, fishing, water, and the people. My daughter-in-law, Miss J.W. Webb of Chicago, came here January 1st, 1913. She had been troubled for years with the rheumatism. She had not walked for 100 yards at one time during 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
When she arrived here, she had to be led and assisted up the steps. She left here about middle of February 1913. So about 6 weeks later, after being here for about 1 month, all alone, she walked several miles at a stretch. The water and climate benefited her much. I have seen canes and crutches and yet go away without them. I spend 5 months of the winter season here and I live in Chicago.
You
And
know,
this is by W. Webb.
when we moved here, and we kept meeting neighbors, and they're our age, we're 40 or older, up to 60s and the 80s. Most of them still live independently. Our neighbor isn't she 85?
Oh,
One of them
yes.
is 85, one of them is 90. They live independently or with one family member. But they get around, they walk, they get around, they're fine. And I'm sitting here going like, both my grandmas that are still alive are in nursing home type settings, semi-independent, but they're not even capable of living the way the elders down here that live full time down here live. And they don't look nowhere near the age that they say they are. If they're 85, they look 65. And they have their wits about them. I mean, they're still slow and fragile to a certain degree. They just take it easy, but they still have their wits about them. Actually, the older lady, she walks. I mean, she's a whippersnapper too, and she talks. Don't get her going on politics, but it's so enjoyable to like see. And we've met people in their 50s that look 10 to 15 years younger, even if they're. It's funny to say, even if they're slightly out of shape looking. I don't know. It's just the stress of still going to work and daily living, but they look young and they don't have nowhere near the health problems. I swear, the way that you live in the north, especially through the winters, they still have some conditions, but they feel so much better since moving down here. Most of the neighbors we've met are from New Jersey and Ohio and the typical northern states, but we're even getting a lot of neighbors from California, and I'm just dumbfounded with exactly what she did say here. Though she will be 81, and she's all just saying, I only took 5 years off. I'm like, there is something with the water, the climate, and the diet to say everybody who lives here. The testimonies in these articles are not coming from people who live here to say, oh yeah, I've been here all my life and I had kidney problems. No, the people in the testimonies are like, I'm from a northern state and I currently feel better. So I'm seeing a connection here with location.
Yes.
As they say in the real estate world, it really does. It's going to make a difference. I mean, we've been here a year and a half, and in the first month, and we moved in the middle of winter. We actually packed in our vehicle. The first day it snowed, oh my, it was horrible. But it was bittersweet because it finally snowed, and it snowed like 6 inches, and we're packing to leave Michigan. It was like a kick in the butt and a sweet kiss on the face kind of goodbye. And by the time we got to Kentucky, oh, you could feel the heat. People are happier. People are just, manners come naturally. People are happy and delightful, and they pretty much can handle Karens a lot better, those type of attitudes, because they get a lot of tourism. They get a lot of snowbirds from Kentucky, Tennessee. I might skip Georgia, but Florida. I mean, we stayed in that one town in Georgia, and it wasn't Atlanta. What was it called? The funny name.
Oh my goodness.
It was on the border of Florida, coming down on 75. I was like, I don't think I'll recommend coming here. Oh my God, just a little less friendly. And it's just amazing since coming here, even the other tourist people, when they're not driving, when they're just walking around, even shopping, and like the driving is another issue for some reason. Oh my God. We went to Miami last March on the way back from visiting the Keys. It was like NASCAR driving. I thought we were going to die. I was like, what? I don't know. I just can't even think about it now. Like, it was semi-traumatic and an experience like I had never had.
Yes, so Dr. Longo and all of you fine folk that hail out the Atlantic east side of Florida, I pray for you guys. If you're driving around, oh my goodness.
It wasn't even rush hour. Oh.
No.
Or it's like before rush hour, people are really scrambling to get where they're going, and I'm like, how are just, this looks like utter chaos, like something out of Idiocracy. Like, how do people not fly off the road, off the bridge? Like, they are flying so fast, so quick. And like, I thought we were like, anyways, absolutely the worst experience. But at the same time, I'm like, but so skilled because nobody died while we were there.
They're skilled. I mean, for the most part, I'll give them that.
That I'm still just freaked me out. Anywho, there is a couple paragraphs in this article talking about the water being analyzed. I always mess it up. Punta Gorda, February 23rd, 1915. Under the date of February 19th, Captain R.E. Rose, state chemist, sent me analysis of water from 3 of the 10 or 12 artesian wells. I had sent him the water from the well in the century of Marion Avenue. We didn't look that up yet. Total dissolvement, solids parts per million. It is 1,183 parts of common salt, bicarbonate of lime and magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts. They say that's good for the muscles and easement with the warmth of it. Organic matter equal a trace, highly mineral water. From New City well, same substance, total dissolved parts per million, 2,929 parts, 2,929. A very highly mineralized water. Oh my God. That's funny. Mineralized. From old ice plant well. That's the name. Total dissolved solids, 5,670 parts per 1 million. I'm like, now I'm double checked. Did I read everything else right? I'm like, all of a sudden parts per million. Okay. Wow. Same substance, extremely highly mineralized water. This combination of various salts, salt is important, apparently. I think it's related to electrolytes, is more or less apparent, hence has a
laxative. Yes, it does.
Effect upon the kidneys. There is but. They just had to start the next sentence that way. It's only got one T, but come on. There is but little sulfur in this water. This gas. One after another. This is the second sentence. This gas is tested and smelt. It's like, but gas smelt. Okay. While drinking at the fountain, it escapes almost immediately.
It escapes. Oh my god, people. If
Please
you are
tell
not
me
dying on the floor laughing
the
right now.
outhouses were like 2 feet away.
Wow.
There's some
Okay.
strong coffee.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this, folks. Okay, here we go. This combination of various salts is more or less apparent, hence has a laxative effect upon the kidneys and bowels. There is but little sulfur in this water. This gas is tasted.
Tested. Oh my god, I read it wrong. It just said tasted.
This gas is tasted. That's what it says.
I said
Tasted. Wow. Okay. This gas is tasted and smelt while drinking at the fountain. It escapes almost immediately. It escaped the state chemist. It should be called the Punta Gorda mineral water. Oh my gosh. That.
How about the mineral water laxative with all the benefits of you will feel great after 20 minutes.
You will move your bowels and your kidneys will be very happy.
You will feel light as a feather.
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Okay. What is
Wow.
Okay, next.
All right, now the last paragraph is the soluble salts of lime are evidently not without psychological activity. That's hyphenated. Psychological, you see that?
Yes.
And have close relation with the general bodily well-being. Well, when you feel good, you feel like all around, right? W.H. Powell and E. Cook have proved that the inorganic salts of the blood, milk, gastric juice, etc., are able to keep the
isolated frog's heart.
Ew! Why did I want to read that? Ugh.
I don't know.
Okay, it's part of the article, but okay. Isolated frog's heart beating with force and regularity for hours without other food, and according to the experiment of Ringer, among these salts, that of lime is especially important.
Yeah.
Further analysis is there. Alright, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm done with that one.
We are done with that article, and once again, we're not done yet, but the articles will be in the description below, so you can click and read them.
You can read about the frog's heart on your own. All right, the Punta Gorda Herald, August 12th, 1915. So we went from January, February, March, August, and then we'll go back to one that says July. Alrighty, you ready?
Yeah, I'll give this one a go. Climate and artesian water of Punta Gorda give relief in many of the human ills. And again, this is from August 12, 1915, Punta Gorda Herald. Now, in this particular article, this gives you a bunch of the headers, if you will, to read from. There is pains in back, gained weight, skin disease, gained weight after a fever, nervousness, stomach trouble, of course, indigestion, kidney, bladder, and stomach, Bright's disease. This one actually gives you the headers for different ones if you...
This is a little easy. Health complaint.
We haven't heard about skin disease, so let's read this one.
Well, there's also asthma. We haven't read.
February 8th, 1915. I have found that the artesian water of Punta Gorda will relieve many skin diseases. if baths are taken frequently. In fact, there are few diseases with which I have to contend that cannot be almost or totally relieved by the persistent and proper use of this water. Drinking, bathing, etc. I use it in many ways. With equipment and persistent use, as good results can be obtained as with the waters of Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. I have lived in Punta Gorda for about 12 years, having been born in this county. E.K. Whitted.
That's the first one if they say they were born there and they
Yep.
had something going on. So, I mean, you especially, babe, you have eczema living in Michigan. You didn't have it when you were living in Florida, but when you moved to Michigan.
Yes, that is something I can touch on really quick. Growing up in Florida, in Pinellas County, actually, I never had, what's it called, psoriasis/eczema. There's a couple different things they call it. But it's
Severe
on
dry
skin.
skin.
It's just basically severe dry skin. I never had that in Florida, and it took a few years of living in Michigan for it to finally, show its dirty face, I guess. And I've had it ever since being in Michigan, and now that I'm back here in Florida, it's ever so slowly starting to go away. So that's a good thing. I'm sure it'll take a little while, but
We took our honeymoon in 2009 to visit Florida for only a week. And once you had gotten into the ocean water, it cleared up like 90% almost. But his it was all over his ankle and his calf area on both legs. But it was amazing after being in the ocean for like an hour or two. Like that night, a few hours later, it was like clearing up. And you could just tell 20-30%. But we kept going to the beach because I had never been to Florida. So we spent a lot of time outside. Spent a lot of time in 1 week even. I was about 6 months pregnant. We took a late honeymoon, and we were just active. We were doing stuff. We were staying at his aunt's house. She never saw us till we came. Sun went down. Even after that, we come back, we crash, and we leave by the time the sun came up the next day. But yeah, the environment down here, climate, the water, even the ocean. I guess we're on the Gulf side. Absolutely wonderful. It's breathtaking. It's so delightful. I didn't want to leave. I was like, I'm convinced we're going to get back here one way or another. Absolutely. And you also have asthma, babe. You have like seasonal asthma, or what kind of asthma was it?
it's just asthma in general.
More like a
Which actually I can read that article here. Asthma and Other Diseases, February 23rd, 1915. For the past 17 years, I have been spending 5 to 6 months each year during the winter season here in Louisville, Kentucky, where I live. I often had severe attacks of asthma. I never had a case of it here. I love Punta Gorda and the people. I hope to come here as long as I live. I am 82 years old.
wow.
A friend of mine came here with me. We lived here together. She had a complication of diseases, rheumatism, indigestion, heart troubles. I have known her to faint away on account of her heart in Louisville. Such never occurred to her here, however. Here, she was much benefited in every respect. She lived to be 81 years old. A doctor who knew her well several years longer than he had any idea she would live. And this was by Miss Eliza Lander Webb.
Lots of webs in here.
Yes.
That is very interesting. What is that? Catarash? No, cataract. You see that one?
Cataract. Yes, cataract.
With the cataracts?
No, it's just, yeah.
Nostril. Yeah, it's a cataract. February 26, 1915. I came to Punta Gorda from Washington, It's not DC.
No,
Illinois?
No,
Okay,
just
Washington, Illinois. In October 1913. In my former home, I had been afflicted for many years with cataract, troubles affecting nostril, throat, eyes, and hearing. Since coming to this place, all of these troubles have entirely disappeared. I attribute the improvement in my health to the climate and free use of the water in this section. I am satisfied from my own experience that the water has also a benefit factor on the stomach and kidneys. Yours truly, Chaz A. Waltmere, not
Yes.
a web. Insomnia.
Now, Qatar, or Qatar H, okay, is a buildup of mucus in an airway or cavity of the body. It usually affects the back of the nose, the throat, or the sinus. It's air-filled cavities in the bones of the face. It's often temporary, but some people experience it for months or years. That's what the
Yeah, it's spelled
Qatar.
Catarrh.
Yes.
Qatar. Which is funny because when we took in our cat, it's been 3 years. He, like 6 months into having him, he built up this eye mucus and this drainage. And they tell us it's like a feline version of a cold. And they said there's a medicine for it, but it costs a lot of money because it's not insurance related. So they said there was a supplement we could give him. And we did that for a little bit, but it was hard to get him to take it or even put it in his food or whatever. We've been down here in Florida. He don't have it.
Nothing. No issue at all.
We still get sneezes. We still get like little drainage or whatever because there is a change in the weather every 3 months, every seasonal change there. But it's so slight unless the pollen kicks up and it hasn't rained in a few days. You're gonna sneeze, but you know that's just kind of life, I guess. So there is one that says insomnia, and also another one that says good for domestic animals, which we were just talking about. The domestic animals, February 19th, 1915. Before being brought to Punta Gorda, the kidneys of one of the county mules refused to act. Like, okay. For weeks, it was necessary to give him a small handful of salt petri. On being brought here, he was at first treated once this way. He has been here for 5-6 weeks. His kidneys now work all right. He drinks the water, the well water. No medicine is used on him. I came here from Indiana. Dogs, horses, mules, cattle love it. When cattle were allowed to run on the street, they would come for it. It is stated that it is a tick eradicator. Damn.
A tick eradicator.
Sure. But no one told that to the cattle. These various cures are now being told to you. No one told that to the cattle. I think they kind of figured it out. You know?
These cures.
Insomnia.
So, well, we got one. I want to say we got one article left, and I guess before we get into it,
I was going to read Insomnia. It's really small. March 1st, 1915. This is my third winter in Punta Gorda. Stayed here about 6 months each time. In Louisville, Kentucky, my home, I suffered much. Entirely relieved. This is B. Myrick. Myrick? Yep. So
entirely relieved.
Testimonies. There's a connection.
That is cool.
What are we doing? Are we doing time for July?
So July 8th. So before we get into this, we should definitely emphasize that it is a spigot now. It is not a free-moving water well like it was back in the day.
It has an on-off.
If you want to touch on that a little more, or just get into the article and talk about it afterward.
Yeah, we can, because this is going to be a pre-recorded part. We will definitely bring it up because it's going to be played during the live stream. We will be there while we're talking about it now, but we'll get more into what it looks like now compared to what it looked like then. So this is also from the Punta Gorda Herald, but this is July 8th, 1915. So all these articles are pretty much the same year. This is one that says classified up in the corner, but there is a forum written pretty much in the middle of it that I'm going to read. I presume it is too late to make a kick about the removal of the fountain from the center of the street, but it is a thing to be deplored. I had no idea our city fathers could be or would be so unwise as to remove the fountain, which was a source of so much pleasure to man and beast, and especially to our tourists. We're all delighted to drink. I do indeed think there has been a great mistake made. I have heard dozens of people say they would give a good deal to have it restored. One laboring man said he would give $5. That was a big deal back then. As it is now, it is very inconvenient to everyone. I do not think the danger from automobiles would be any greater in the old place than in the new one. I wish everyone who thinks as I do would say so, and let us see if we could not again have the fountain replaced. All in favor say aye. That was from Mary K. Rankin, stating in the Punta Gorda Herald, July 8th of 1915, that the fountain that was in the center, because I read that in another article, center of the street had been moved. So it's not in its original location. It had been moved. So it's piped, capped, and spigoted.
Yes, and that is a very big deal that they moved it. And most people are like, well, what's the big deal? Well, think about it. Anything that we do when it comes to moving something like this, if it has healing attributes and stuff like this, right? And, you know, the Enchilon found out about it, and they're like, hey, let's just say we're going to move it over here for this reason, but then meddle with it, right? Who knows what they did by moving the entire well? Because right now it's not a well no more. It's a fountain. It's an actual, water fountain that we know today, modern.
It's not free flowing.
With a spigot on it. So,
yeah. And that can build up more.
It's like, do we know there's not a filter under there anywhere? We don't know how they built this when they did. We don't know.
as they say, we're going to remodel it, we're going to reinforce it, we're going to give it some integrity, we're going to do stuff to it. If there was a problem with it to begin with, but it doesn't say that, even to her knowledge of even the decision to move it, with 1915 automobiles being such a problem, you think that you would keep the integrity of the location of such a tourist attraction and wonder and move the street. How many times do we actually move streets around here even today? They did it back then. Move the street. Turn it into a safer roundabout, if you will. You know, I'm just like, so many neighborhoods and streets, even just down and around, they have dead ends, congested with traffic. But you move the fountain and you tamper with that free flowing goods of even saying, was it then connected to the city water system? You don't know what happened to it, what was going on. And I'm like that. When I read this the first time, I was like, oh my goodness. I had not heard exactly. But over time and looking at things, you can pretty much assume nothing is where it was. And they messed with it. And now it sucks.
It's just jumping around too much. I'm messing with the video because I'm trying to get that main picture of what there it is. Okay, it's on the screen, everybody. That is what the only picture we can find of. It says the city of Punta Gorda was founded in 1884. Okay, and this is the only picture we can find where you can see the well
in the middle of the street, and cattle, horses, whatever cattle, livestock could drink out of it. It had more of a free flowing system because when you stop water in a spigot form, it can lead to buildup in the pipes and the smell and decay of the system that it's sitting in, instead of leaving it in a more natural semi like stone basin of letting it do its thing. And general maintenance of, we have some of these systems today. If they knew how to do it back then, we can do it today and maintain and take care of it. Free flowing water is, I must say, less smelly.
Well, less smelly, and it's obviously more better than being capped off and not free flowing, because then you get stagnant water. Stagnant water is not clean water. Okay, stagnant water is not clean water.
If it is stagnant in the pipes, it's filtered. Usually, looking at the pieces that connect everyone. So there is another one from a Mrs. S.J. Hewitt, also stating, Dear Mr. Editor, I wish to express my sentiment, and it is also the sentiment of the most of the town people, that I find that moving away of the water fountain is a detriment to the town and people. The people enjoyed meeting and drinking at the fountain, and could sit on the stone curbing, that we showed you, and enjoy the water. And those having teams of horses could drive up without any inconvenience, because we still had horses and carriages and livestock, and give the horses drink. As now, it is very inconvenient, especially for the horses. One team comes in the way of another, and each one must back and turn around. They were having traffic jams because of this. And all in all, it is a nuisance. Of course, because when you think you're engineering a better idea, it's a nuisance. Just describe a traffic jam of horses. As it was before, it was a pleasure. It's the story is split. I had to go all the way to the top. Besides, our town was being advertised far and wide on account of this one feature and the healthful water. Now people in general are dissatisfied and ask why was the fountain removed. It ruins the little beauty we had to be proud of. Was it done to give some one man a job? We've heard that story today too. Was it done to give some one man a job because he happened to want a job? It looks so. Ooh, controversy. Then subject the town to the expense of doing just what they do not want done. Instead of this, why not those in charge of these affairs say no? What money do we spend will be to beautify and improve the town. We have a beautiful site here, and if all together to improve and beautify our town, people with money would come and take an interest, and everybody would have more money, as it would be passed from one to another for so many different things. Many are willing to donate a little towards replacing the fountain, and I for one hope it will be. Very respectfully, Mrs. S. J. Hewitt, July 2nd.
Yeah. So basically, they moved it, and they were like, "This is bull. Put it back." And
They were
yeah,
pissed. I mean, two people, but usually only a few speak up for the whole town because the whole town's like, oh, well, maybe it's kind of better, maybe not. I would say something, but I don't want to cause a fuss. They went ahead and did it anyways. I'm like, oh, you got it.
yeah,
They did it without even like the one lady. I didn't know. I had no idea. She was like, I had no idea our city fathers could be or would be so unwise. But she had no idea. Like, they were kind of taken sideways that it happened. I'm like, yeah, that happens all the time. Right?
yeah.
All right. So that's a reading of these articles.
Wow, that's a.
I don't know
It's
why.
another long one, just like the pirate one. It turned out to be a long one.
I don't know why.
What can we say, folks? There's a lot of information to give out. So
I will
again,
just get to it, right?
hope you all enjoyed it. And again, it's all in the description below, the links to the articles.
This was fewer articles and it was longer enough that, well, we were adding more of our 2 cents into it. So yeah, I will end it with, now here's a word from our unofficial sponsor because we don't have one.
It's Florida, land of strange contrasts, land of mysterious Everglades and bright beaches, land of glamorous gaiety, and land of peaceful serenity. Land of tropical sunsets that provide golden halos. Land of clear blue mornings, where the seabirds glide silently overhead on a whisper-smooth offshore breeze. Land of nature's magic, where porpoises are fed by hand. Florida, where you get school credit for learning to water ski. Since 1513, when Florida's first tourist, Ponce de Leon, dropped some gossip about the Fountain of Youth, countless other tourists have been searching for it. Youth, that is. Nor have we visited the famous Bach Singing Tower or heard the carillon. But as I say, Miss Florida is all things to all people. She's young and sprightly, and she's dignified and beautiful. You have to see her and meet her in person. She'll welcome you, but even when you see her and meet her, you may not believe what you see.
Oh, we're muted. There we go.
I'm good. I was delayed.
And welcome back, everybody. That
Splish
was
Splash.
a long stream.
Full of
Oh my.
information. And I clicked on something over here, and I can no longer type.
Oh, clicky buttons.
So it's good. It's the end of the road right now. I
Thank
broke it.
you. Thank you to
You-
all who hung out for
Thank you.
the entirety of it, and
Hanging out.
you know,
and-
even for those who come and go, because you know life happens.
Oh,
but
we
we-
do the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So we appreciate everybody for taking the time and hanging with us, and of course we always hope you have a laugh, because research
Hoot
can
name.
be fun.
You can. Don't make it out
Research
like
can be fun.
Debbie Downer kind of drag. You can get through the process of it and just
Yeah.
connect the
So
dots sometimes, and you just like laugh
Um,
about it.
yeah. So next week we should be back to our vintage films, and we might have a Canadian style vintage
Theme.
films theme next week.
Hey,
We,
hey.
we might even have a guest or two on with us. We'll
we're gonna
see.
try.
And also next week, there's a very possibility we might have a surprise pop-up stream panel with a few other people. So
Joe's working on it.
we
He wants
got,
to talk to people.
we got things in the works,
He wants to
and
talk about it.
lots of good stuff. So
And
wow.
if anybody has any curious ideas of what else might be in Florida, and you want to see if I can try and find it, that's the challenge. If you want to see if I can try and find it.
Yep, as usual, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticism, we don't care.
Input.
just
Input,
drop
output.
them in the comments section below. Let us know whether we're doing great, terrible, indifferent, or
Your
just
2
having a
cents,
blast.
just put it in the comment section. It's all good. It's
So,
all good.
Until next time, we will say good night.
Enjoy the breeze. That sounded weird.
Sending to outer space to find another race. I'm gonna send into outer space to find another race.
Oh, boys! I'm back!
Don't ask questions. Oh, no, you first.
When you tell somebody something, it depends on what part of the United States you're standing in as to just how dumb you are.
Grandma, you can't just kick me out. I can too.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
If you were waiting for the opportune moment, that was it.